that. And Mark, related, I suppose, what is the latest on the various pandemic claims and treaties and so on?
The latest, Mike, is that there's two scenarios now. Note the timing. At least in the United States, the school year is about to start. In places like Texas, it's on the brink of starting. In northern states, it starts right after Labor Day, the first Monday in September. And this first slide is an article by Alex Newman, an acquaintance of mine at two different Red Pill Expos, one in 2016, one in 2022, from a Exposing the Darkness column. Democrats and globalists urgently prepare to reimpose COVID-style policies on schools. He's saying government schools across the U.S. must urgently prepare to reimpose COVID-style policies on students and staff in response to an expected upcoming pandemic, warned a former high-ranking public health bureaucrat in the Obama administration. Among the key measures, a push for mass vaccination, writing in an article published last month in the left-wing outlet Stat News, the far-left former pandemic official offers wide-ranging advice to school district officials on how to prepare for COVID 2.0, in this case, likely the bird flu or H5N1 avian influenza. But there's a different twist to it. There's two scenarios, actually. We'll move on. And this is a reference by Alex Newman to Dr. Mario Ramirez, former acting director of the Office of Pandemic and Emergency Threats within the DHHS. And he's the one warning about H5N1 and that it could jump to humans in the near future. As such, schools must prepare to deal with it. The warnings come as a front group for Bill Gates, Big Pharma, and the World Economic Forum, known as the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, just issued similar warnings, which is very interesting. We can move on from there. This is the person, I won't get into it a lot. This is Dr. Mario Ramirez that Alex Newman is referring to. People can check out a little bit about his CV on this slide if they want to freeze that later. And we'll continue. These are some miscellaneous headlines where the WHO, however, is not touting the bird flu. They're saying the big thing to look out for is monkeypox, or Mpox for short. And this is just a miscellaneous collage of headlines. Quite recently, as you can see, 14 August 2024, WHO Director General declares Mpox outbreak a public health emergency of international concern. That's the big threshold they need to declare a pandemic. So they've already made that threshold, although it may be in its earlier stages. And then 19 of August, there's another headline. First meeting of the IHR, the International Health Regulations Emergency Committee, regarding the upsurge of Mpox 2024, and a couple other recent headlines that get into this. And the WHO, as we continue, also goes on to say that the influenza from the bird flu, H5N1, is at a low ebb. So they're really saying monkeypox is the big thing. Whereas Alex Newman is hearing it's more like the avian bird flu. So which is it? And this is just a basic statement from the WHO, and people can check out the details. And here's a little bit more from Alex Newman. Apparently, Americans are currently enjoying the bliss of the interpandemic period. Enjoy it while you can, folks. COVID 2.0 will come upon us like a storm, he claims. We just don't know when, where, or how it will arrive. Of course, he's a constitutional writer for the New American Magazine and an oftentimes Red Pill Expo speaker. I believe we have another one. But if we're to believe Dr. Ramirez, it's unavoidable, and only a massive vaccine campaign, including mRNA shots for children, can save the children. And in this same column, I'll mention that Alex Newman goes on to say that he believes more and more people need to homeschool right away, even now with the public school schedule about to begin. However, we hear about Mpox being the main culprit, according to the WHO. Alex Newman is hearing it's more about the bird flu, and yet there's an international bird flu summit coming up. And here's a screenshot from that. It shows some fairly self-evident things there. Bird, cattle, pets, people, there's various things. And this is from a brochure, as I indicate here. an event brochure, and the Bird Flu Summit will take place in early October. This is some of the things I pulled from the brochure in this next slide. And the very the very things that I pulled out were really the most significant. The top one topics include mass fatality management planning. Well, I highlighted that. Notice what it says here: develop and maintain plans, procedures, programs, and systems. But the bottom one, it says conduct morgue operations. A little bit more of a kind of creepy thing there. And another thing I pulled from it that's very interesting is continuity of government operations. And we've seen this, especially in the US, when they outline scary scenarios. They talk about continuity of government. How will government continue if there's a massive public nuclear attack or health emergency or things like that? How will government continue to operate? So a little ominous there, even though the WHO is denying the significance of the avian bird flu. And this last slide on this topic, it's just another twist on it. A World Health Organization official on Tuesday emphasized that Mpox, whether the old or new strain, is not comparable to COVID-19 because its spread is more controllable. Authorities know the measures necessary to contain its transmission. And yet this source here, Hans Klug, a WHO regional director for Europe, added the following: so we will choose to put the systems in place to control and eliminate Mpox globally? Question. Or will we enter into another cycle of panic and neglect? How we respond now and in the years to come will prove a critical test for Europe and the world. So it's a little bit ambiguous, but it's sort of a two-tiered, two-scenario thing, and the timing is very important. And so this is a renewed reason under the new pandemic treaty and the new IHR to be very vigilant at this time. So back to you, Mike.
Thanks, Mark. I mean, I don't know whether it's ambiguous. I think certain elements are desperate to bring this type of regime back into place, but generally there isn't support for it. So, anyway, we can talk a bit more about that in extra. Now, if you like what the UK column does, you would like to support us, the place to go is support.ukcolumn.org. Your support is very much needed and would be greatly appreciated. You could, however, if at the very least, share our material on the various platforms. ukcolumn.org and ukcolumnextracts.co.uk is a place to go for that. And of course, censorship continues, as we've mentioned. If you would like to pick something up at the UK Column shop, there's quite a few items there for you to grab hold of, especially Your Life in Their Hands. We want to see this distributed as widely as possible. So please do pick up a couple of copies if you can and send them around your friends and so on. A reminder of the event on the 19th of October 2024. The venue will be in Bristol. Anybody that's bought tickets, we will be contacting with venue details very, very shortly. But tickets available on the UK Column shop as well. The interview that Charles did with Kevin Lister is up on the UK Column website now. So that went out yesterday. And this was a teacher having basically his career decimated as a result of him challenging transgender ideologies. On Sunday, the 8th of September at 6 p.m., we will be hosting a symposium run by International Centre for 9/11 Justice on aviation impossibilities, deconstructing the official story of the 9/11 hijackings and air defence failures. That will be on the UK Column website, on the community website, and various other places as well. A final reminder that the Hope Sussex Freedom Music Festival starts today and over the weekend. So hopefully as many people as possible are going to that. I'm sure if you can go at the last minute, please do. And also a reminder that Brian and I will be speaking at the Heritage Party Conference on Saturday, the 28th of September 2024. Tickets are available at the Heritage Party website, and you'll get more details there as well. And finally, another reminder of the Died Suddenly exhibition taking place in November. Details from Jake Fern, his email address on screen at the moment.